On the receiver theme, Shane, let's kick it on down to Columbia, South Carolina. We haven't talked some Gamecocks in a little while, but, man, they have got some options. And this is something that we've talked about all offseason with you're bringing in these transfers. You've got the other guys already on the roster ready to compete. It's not like a totally rebuilt secondary, but one thing that I think gets lost in the conversation, Shane, when we talk about Spencer Rattler coming in and upgrading this offense is the fact that some of these guys may have been primed for a breakout last season,
right?
But we just couldn't get them the football. So we are just hearing so much buzz that the South Carolina receivers are ready to take it up to that next step. So are you buying the fact that, again, it's not just transfers that are new players, but some of the players we already had on the roster, maybe they're far more dynamic and big play receivers than we realize because we just couldn't get them the football last year?
Absolutely, man. I mean, when you got a quarterback, it changes everything. It makes the play. It takes an average Joe and can make him a hero if you're putting it in the only spot he can get. So, I think that's going to be part of it. But we know what South Carolina has brought down there. We know that there's more talent down there this year than there was last year. It's just, what does it look like when it's unveiled? You know, I think also that competition when that room is loaded, because you'll hear the comments here in a second. When you're not the only guy in there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It makes you better because you're competing with other folks that can actually take your job. So, Mike, you're sucking me back into this Columbia hype, and I told myself I wouldn't go down that rabbit hole. But, you know, when you hear comments like you're about to, it's hard not to just kind of, you know, be a little intrigued.
Yeah, and we're about to hear from a Marion Brown receiver for the Gamecocks.
And I'll say this. I was thinking, man, what was it, Eastern Carolina they were playing last year? And I mean, it was a horrible game.
Yeah.
It was absolutely horrible. I hated watching it because I had money on it. But there was parts that you would think, man, if we could go back and I put Rattler on that roster, is this thing even close? You know, I mean, because there was a lot of great routes being ran. There was a lot of great things being done on that offensive side of the ball. We just couldn't get the ball to that guy. So to answer your question, I think immediately that's not a ball game anymore.
Yeah, no doubt. And, you know, I've heard a lot of people say, well, my God, they struggled against East Carolina. They struggled against this team. They struggled against that team. But I think there's something to be said, Shane, for battling adversity and winning those football games, which you may not deserve to have won. And now when you're upgrading across the board in terms of talent and depth, I think that sets you up for even – because there's going to be struggles. I don't care how much we sit here and hype up the South Carolina Gamecocks. They're not going to go undefeated, probably, you know?
Right.
And there's games where they may get blown out. But how do you get off the mat? And I think last year will serve them well. And maybe I'm not even talking about the losses, but maybe, again, they get down. Maybe they – right out the gate, Tennessee got them 14-0 at the end of the first quarter. How do you respond to that adversity? And last season, I think, is just really going to serve them well. So let's kick it over to Marion Brown, who's a guy we were hearing buzz about last year. The former Georgia Tech receiver was on the roster last season for the Gamecocks. He really got going there in the bowl game. But, I mean, just look at some of the guys he's got to work with, Shane. Josh Vann, Juice Wells, the transfer from James Madison, Corey Rucker from Arkansas State, and then returners Xavier Leggett, DeCarrion Joyner, and then Jakeem Bell and Austin Stalker. I mean, my God, we go 8-9 deep here, and that's kind of the message he's got.
Maybe just how different is this wide receiver room compared to what it was maybe even 4 months ago or a year ago at this time?
Oh, yeah, before, you know, we had a lot of great guys. I think now that, you know, we got a few transfers and freshmen in, a lot of people talk about it. This room is special. We're about 9-10 deep. Like it's special, man. You know, everybody in that receiver room can do something, whether that's freshmen or, you know, transfers or newcomers. You know, everybody has showed something, you know, during the spring and fall. And I just think that, you know, that receiver room is going to be a huge, huge surprise for everyone this year.
I guess as you're here, 4 or 5 practices in now, who are some of the guys both offensively and defensively that maybe caught your eye a little bit?
We've had a lot of great practices. Like you said, that whole receiver group has been special. I can say from top to bottom, even freshmen like, you know, Landon and DJ Black, Ooh, it's been special. Even the older guys, on the offense, Juice, who just came in, he's special as well. Rucker, he has a lot of great talent as well. On the defense, all the guys that returned are playing their butts off. I mean, they're flying around. Yesterday, he had a great practice. They're flying around making plays. I think that, right now that the whole team has actually been pretty good. We just working off of each other and just all grinding together. It's been pretty amazing.
Hey, last little thing on South Carolina, Shane. I feel bad because I totally forgot about this, and I should have mentioned it on the last show because it's going to be a day late and a dollar short. But I don't know if you watched any of that Hard Knocks on HBO, but ESPNU's got their own South Carolina Gamecocks Hard Knocks that debuts Wednesday evening. Again, I know this pod comes out Thursday, but hopefully your DVR's recording it, and I'm sure they'll be replaying it. But if you're a Gamecock fan, you got to check out ESPNU South Carolina All Access. Cannot wait to see the training camp show that they produce for the Gamecocks.
Well, an advantage of recording the show on Wednesday, I'm not going to miss it now. So. Appreciate that, Mike.